Hey, welcome everyone. Fred Bleak, and I'm here with Bill DeWees, who is our master teacher
Good
today,
evening.
and he will be doing his thing. So, but we're not quite started yet. Just a little pre-class banter, as we call it.
So glad to have you here tonight. Thanks for taking time out. It's going to be a great webinar, and I want to encourage you to, if you want to take some notes, grab a pencil, a pen, some paper. Tell your family and friends you're going to be. You need to be left alone for an hour because there's some really important information I'll be sharing, which can make a huge difference as you either strike
If you
out.
would, put your name and your city that you're from right in the question box so we can greet you personally. I know a lot of people are shy, but if you do that, that'd be great. Who you are and where you're from, and basically how long you've been in the voiceover business. So if you could do that, we'd love to see it.
Thank you.
Anything else, Bill?
No. I
I'll wait
think,
for those.
I think that's it for now. But yeah, what I was saying earlier, just to let your family and friends close by know that the next hour is pretty important. You'll be getting some really good information, and you're in class. How's that? And I promise to deliver.
There you go. People are filing in. We're waiting for everybody. Appreciate you being here. And again, if you would, just put in your name and where you're from and how long you've been doing voice business. If you haven't, that's fine too. Just let us know. Just try to figure out how much experience you have. If you do have any, that'd be great. And we will just get started shortly. You usually give people about till 2 minutes after the hour to get going, and that's what we'll do this time as well.
One of the things I love about what I do, and we'll talk more about this in a bit, is that I do this from home, so I'm literally coming to you from my basement, where I sit all day, every day, at least Monday through Friday, recording voiceover projects. As a matter of fact, I just did a project just before coming on the broadcast tonight with for UPS store.
And I was just at the UPS store twice today collecting my mail.
There you go.
Tell me what it was.
Well, it
so
was.
that I can...
Yeah, it's a presentation for prospective UPS store franchisees. All of those stores are owned by franchisees, and
Yep.
so I'll be helping. I'm doing the presentation, the audio portion of their presentation.
Great. Excellent. So again, we'll get started right at the top of the hour, maybe a few minutes past, because people are starting to file in, and we don't want to let anyone who's there not get the best of this. So I see, who's this? Christine's from where? She's from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hey, Christine,
Pretty
good to
new.
have you on tonight.
Welcome, Christine. Thank you. Welcome. And I see some more people filing in here, and we'll just ask them if they could introduce themselves as well. Thank you very much, Christine. Albuquerque, I love it. A friend of mine lives in Santa Fe. I've been up there to a place called 10,000 Waves. I'll bet you know what that is, perhaps. Heather, welcome. If you want to share with us, I know you're going, how did he know? I see your name there, Heather. Where are you from, and how long you been doing voiceover, or are you new? Just tell us in the chat box there, in the question box. It'd be great if you could, Heather. She goes, oh yeah, 10,000 Waves, amazing place. It's just, Christy knows, she knows what I'm saying. Okay, so Heather, if you want to, you can tell us where you're from. I see a bunch of people, so I won't be able to name you all by name, but if you're just coming in and want to share who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been doing voiceovers, or if you're brand new, right, Bill? Isn't that how we do it?
That's how we do it. It's exactly how we do it. Yeah, let us know how long you've been doing it, and I promise you as well, whether you're just getting started or whether you've done this for a little while and you just need to figure out how to get to the next level, I'll be covering all those bases tonight. So regardless of where you're at, really glad you're here tonight. I think you'll find the webinar very helpful.
I am wondering if the person that I see, one of the people's in here, is possibly in the ministerial business. I see Safe Ministries. I have no idea what that is. If you want to tell us what that is or don't want to, that's fine. We'd love to hear. Tell us what you do, where you're from, and what about the voice business fellowship.
I work with a lot of pastors, speaking of ministry. There's a lot of pastors who are interested in, especially bivocational pastors, who are interested in voiceover, or retiring pastors.
Okay, so if you're just coming in, I'm here with Bill DeWees. I'm Fred Bleak, his sidekick that will not go on camera. just orchestrating the events. And if you can put your name, where you're from, and how long you've been in voiceovers, or if you're just getting started, would love to have you. Here's Bill checking in. Bill Ricks from Burlington, North Carolina.
All right.
Started school at Wake Forest. Bill, I know where you are. Let's see here. Anyone else? Again, I'll let you talk to all these folks. Bill, you can. It's 5 o'clock on the hour, and then we're going to wait for a few minutes, and then we get going.
Hey guys, welcome again. Really glad you're here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your Thursday evening. And so, regardless of where you're, maybe you're just investigating, checking it out. Maybe you've fooled around a little bit. Maybe you've been really seriously diving into voiceover. And I'm assuming by the fact that you're here that you're looking for a little bit more. And so, regardless of where you're at, we'll be I'll be giving information that will be helpful to you. Also want to encourage you to, if you have any questions along the way, just take some notes, write those down, and we'll get as many questions as we can at the end of the webinar. And I do have some very special information to share at the end of the webinar. I hope you hang around for that. And again, and I mentioned this earlier, but let family and friends know that you're secluding yourself for the next hour for some really important information. And not to overhype it, but this is information that really could make a huge difference in your life going forward. Should you pursue or decide to pursue voiceover, or to pursue it in a very serious fashion. This is the kind of information that you'll find very, very helpful.
I would say go ahead and take it away.
Let's do it. Well, again, I am Bill DeWees, and I'm so glad to have you here tonight. The name of our webinar is 3 Steps to Build a 6-Figure Voiceover Business. And I will say, regardless of whether you're just looking for maybe a bit of a part-time income or you want to build a multiple 6-figure income, the information is very relevant and very pertinent to you. And there are 3 things we're going to cover tonight, 3 keys you're going to learn. The first is to get found. You got to get found. Secondly, you have to be heard. And third, you have to get hired. And I'm going to break those down for you tonight. And first of all, let's talk about who this webinar is for. As I mentioned earlier, again, voiceover, it's for VO talent who are just getting started. Maybe you're, really new, just trying to figure out what's what. Or maybe you've been doing this for a while. You're not making what you feel you should or what you deserve. Or maybe you've never done voiceover before in your life. You're just tired of what you're doing. And you want to take control of your life and your work, and you want to work from home, which is one of the things I love most about what I do. Now, who is this webinar not for? Well, if you're somebody who's looking for a get-rich-quick kind of thing, if you're looking for that magic bullet, for somebody to sprinkle some fairy dust over you and then somehow automatically and magically, a successful career arrives, or you're not willing to take instruction, or you're not willing to invest, resources into doing this to some degree, then you can't expect to build a business or a career. Now, let me introduce myself. I would imagine you're probably wondering who the guy is who's giving you this information, and is he qualified to do that? Well, first of all, just want to introduce you to my family. These are the people most important to me. I'm very fortunate, very blessed to have I have 3 grown kids and 3 grandkids. They all live here in town. And as a matter of fact, my daughter works for me as my full-time assistant, and my son Alex is actually doing some work for me right now as well. So we're kind of like one big happy family, and it's a lot of fun to have my kids close by, and working at home and working with them. Again, it's just a highlight. It's hard to explain how much that means to me, but these are the most important people in my life. I'm also the author of the book, How to Start and Build a 6-Figure Voiceover Business. Set your VO career on fire. So I literally wrote the book on building a 6-figure voiceover career. Also, I've recorded, I figure, over 10,000 projects here in my studio at home, and my clients include everybody from Adidas and Walmart and Warner Brothers and Fox to Disney and Microsoft and the PGA and QVC and Best Buy and PBS and so on and so forth. Now, I haven't always been in the position I am now. I have not been a voiceover talent forever. I was actually I was a near broke radio broadcaster for over 20 years. And if you've worked in radio at all, you know what I'm talking about. Unless you're doing a morning show in a major market at one of the top stations, most people in radio just don't make nearly the money that you might assume. And even in television, I did transition into corporate work and was later downsized in 2006. And in 2006, I was literally we were living on credit cards, trying to pay the bills. And I knew I had to do something, and I had to do something fast. And it was at that time that I decided I've got nothing to lose. I might as well pursue my dream. I had always wanted to record voiceovers. I didn't know if I was good enough. I didn't know if I could figure it out. But I did. I sat down and I figured it out. I made a lot of mistakes. I did a few things right. And over time, and that was like 11 years ago, I've been able to create a very systematic approach that has not only been beneficial to me in creating a multiple six-figure annual income, but also in helping thousands of others. And as I mentioned, I've been doing this for about 11 years, and I've been coaching other VO talent as well for about the past 6 years. I talk a lot, and really my message revolves around the idea of a voiceover revolution. And I do that for a very specific reason. And it's because there's been a major shift in business over these past several years. No news to you, I'm sure, but you may not have thought about the impact that it has had on the voiceover industry. But technology has had a huge impact on the way the voiceover business is conducted. And with internet access and computer technology, and good but cheap equipment. It used to cost a lot of money to set up a home studio. Not anymore. But because of these three things, we're able to do things now that, several years back, people could only dream of doing. So, if you ask the average person on the street, so what is voiceover work, or what's a voiceover? They're going to tell you the things that are most obvious, the things that we all think of. Radio and TV commercials, the big network TV promos, the big movie trailers, in a world, kind of things. And cartoon characters, those are those obvious things that we think of. But what a lot of people don't realize are those things that I just mentioned are merely the very teeny tiny tip of the iceberg. Voiceover is a huge industry. It also includes audiobooks, which is a very fast-growing niche within voiceover. Explainer videos, video games, digital products, on hold, what's called IVR. As a matter of fact, I was just recording some IVR today for Cadillac. IVR is where they take bits and pieces, sentences, and they basically put them together to form a complete message depending on what the listener needs to hear. Like in my case, when somebody goes to a Cadillac dealership online and they pick out a car, my voice comes on and says, "You've selected the such and such color and such features," and it puts together the bits and the pieces to do a complete presentation. Also for apps. Lots of voiceover demand for apps. Theater, movie, pre-movie commercials, those commercials you see before the movie trailers. And then what is called internet pre-roll. When you watch a YouTube video and you see a commercial before that, just another example of a demand for voiceover work. And that's by no means a comprehensive list. These are just some of the ways that this industry is exploding in terms of demand for voices. So the big question is now, is this for you? Well, my question for you is, have you been downsized? Do you feel that you've been overworked? Maybe you're retired, or maybe you're thinking about retiring, or maybe you're just tired of what you've been doing. You're tired of the routine. You're tired of feeling like you're not able to express yourself or have control over your own destiny. And if you come from a background in broadcasting, Lord knows radio and television just isn't what it used to be. It's very much a handful of large corporations own most of the broadcast outlets in America, which in and of itself is not a bad thing, but the bad thing is they've really taken the staffs and have pared them down to the very bare bones, where what one person, or maybe let's say 10 people used to do, now one person will be responsible over multiple properties, stations in a market. So it's really squeezed a lot of the creativity and the fun out of it, for sure. And while opportunities in traditional markets are shrinking, in voiceover, they are absolutely exploding. How much? Well, according to Voices.com, the voiceover industry is a $15 billion industry. Did you know that? I mean, it's a huge industry. So another question for you is then, what is your plan to build a sustainable six-figure income? Do you have a plan? And if you do, is it working? Is it working the way you want? Because one thing I can tell you with great certainty is if you do not have a plan, a system to be successful in this business, you can pretty much bet your money that you will not be successful. Because if you're not using a proven business plan system, then essentially you're playing the lottery. And I don't know about you, but that's not the way I want to run a business, with a throw of the dice on a wing and a prayer in a hope that I might get lucky. So as I mentioned before, there are three keys. It's a three-step process. You've got to be found, you have to be heard, and then you get hired. And the best way to get where you want to go, and I think you would agree with me, is to follow somebody who's already done it. This is not a wax on, wax off kind of thing, but in one regard, I guess it is, because essentially what I have been doing and want to continue to do for more and more people is to model and demonstrate and continue to and do what I do and show you how I do what I do and help you to be successful, as I have many others as well. So let's talk about step one. First of all, you have to be found. And I think to truly understand the idea of being found, you have to really understand the way it used to be, which is the hard way. The old voiceover business model is that there was a gatekeeper. That gatekeeper was the talent agent. And if you wanted to work to any degree in voiceover, you needed to be represented by a talent agency. Great. But to be represented by a talent agency and to get voiceover work, well, number one, you had to get representation. So if you were fortunate enough to get that representation, then you had to make yourself available during weekday business hours to travel into your agent's office, who was probably in the closest major metropolitan area, to sit in an office with 50 or 100 other people to audition for a job. Now, if you were fortunate enough to win that job, you would then have to travel back into the city to a studio sometime during the week, Monday through Friday, during business hours, to record the job. And that's all exciting and everything, but it's hard for somebody who's an adult and has responsibilities and bills to pay, and you've got a career or a job, to have that kind of availability. I live in the Chicagoland area. And when I say Chicagoland, it's like, if you live in New York or Los Angeles, you realize those large metropolitan areas, they can stretch on forever to live in that general vicinity. So, it's an hour to drive into downtown, the Loop. And so when I go, I've maybe in the past 11 years, I've gone into Chicago 4 or 5 times to do sessions for various reasons, out of over 10,000 jobs 4 or 5 times. And for me to go into the city to do a job, that's a half day between the driving, between the parking, getting to the studio, waiting for the client. It's a process, and it's not a very profitable way to run a business. Not to mention, again, if you've got any other kind of job, it's nearly impossible to do. Also, and as if that wasn't hard enough, to really be successful, you really had to be close to the action. And it used to be the action was a lot of New York, but mostly Los Angeles and Hollywood. And so, years ago when people would talk about voiceover, if they were serious about it, they had to really be seriously considering a move to the West Coast, because that's where the gigs were at. That's where most of the jobs were at. And if you wanted to do really well as a voice talent, that's where you needed to be. Well, that's certainly the hard way. And the problem was, you want to work, I liken voiceover to fishing. I think fishing is a great metaphor for voiceover. You've got to be casting and fishing where the fish are at. If you want to get jobs, you've got to be where the jobs are at. And the problem is, if there's someplace else, you're not going to get any of that work. So the answer is you have to position yourself to be where the work is at. Makes sense? Well, there's been a major shift as to where the work is at. And that's really the good news. So check this out, this statistic. 75% of ad agencies now use an online marketplace to find, hire, and pay voiceover talent. Only 19% use talent agencies. Now remember I talked about the hard way when nearly 100% of the work came through talent agencies? Well, now only 19% of the work comes through talent agencies. The rest, or most of the rest, come through online marketplaces, which means regardless of where you're at. And again, if you look in one direction, you're going to see soybean fields. You look in another direction, you're going to see a horse ranch. I don't live in a metropolitan area. But because I have a computer and internet access and a home studio, the world is now my oyster. I have a global business and access to all of this. 40% of ad agencies have migrated online because it's easier, and 43% of ad agencies are looking for voice talent right now, even as I speak. So we've talked about the hard way. So what's the easy way? Well, I've just alluded to it. There's a shift online. It's the freelance revolution. People are taking their skills and they're setting up shop at home and they're doing their thing for home. And the internet has been very cooperative in creating online platforms for us to tap into that market. One of my favorites for voiceover, and this is something you should definitely check out, is Fiverr.com. Fiverr.com. A couple of things that are really awesome about Fiverr. Number one, it's free. You don't have to pay to have an account there. The other thing is that Fiverr actually spends a lot of money in advertising to drive traffic, meaning your prospective clients, to you. So they come to you. And the other great thing is you don't have to audition on Fiverr. When somebody comes and they hear a voice sample and they like you, they hire you. And so there's no auditioning involved either. And what Fiverr does, Fiverr takes 20% of whatever you make. So it's almost like an agency fee. So they only get paid if you get paid. So it's in their best interest to make sure that they're sending people in, that they're sending people in your direction. And another great thing is you can make some good money. I've got a lot of my students are making multiple thousands of dollars a month just through this website, just through Fiverr. A number of which now have quit their regular jobs because they're doing so well. I was working with a student a couple of weeks ago who told me he recently booked a $2,100 job through Fiverr. It was a 1-hour voiceover narration. And although that might be the exception as opposed to the rule, a lot of people booking multiple $100 jobs on Fiverr. So again, it's a great place to stake your claim, set up an account, and let traffic start coming to you. And they are by no means the only freelance site. There's a bunch of them out there: Freelancer, Upwork, Guru, Odesk. And if you just Google freelance, they'll all pop up there, and you can check them all out. The thing is with freelance websites, as with a lot of other websites where you basically have a community, take time to get to know the community and understand the etiquette and how they work so that you can operate as a good citizen within that ecosystem. So there are some other free lead sources I want to share with you. Craigslist is actually a phenomenal resource for leads. I have booked a lot of work. A lot of my clients today, some of my best clients came through Craigslist. Now you have to understand, you have to mine Craigslist. And you don't, by the way, you don't post yourself on Craigslist. That's, good luck. You probably won't get any work doing that. But if you know how to look, you have to look for work on Craigslist. And by understanding how to mine for leads, it can be a great source to find work. Mandy.com is another great source for leads. Mandy.com is the largest online collection of media production companies in the world. It's a listing of tens of thousands of video production companies who are your biggest source of leads. Video production companies make TV commercials. They make corporate videos. They make e-learning content. The very type of content that need voiceovers from people like you and like me. And if you simply Google video production company, you'll find there are thousands, tens of thousands. And here's something else to keep in mind. Earlier, I made reference to the fact that I run a global business, and you can run a global business from home. And it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. I would estimate about 25% of all my work comes outside of North America. I just picked up a new client from China today. Yesterday I did a project for another Chinese client, and almost every day I do one or two jobs for European clients. So don't think your backyard. Don't think local. Think global. Step 2, you got to be heard. Getting heard consists of two things. You want to make sure that what your clients hear is of utmost technical quality recorded audio, and also your performance, how you read, how you record. That has to sound good as well. Well, the hard way, this is the way it used to work. You wanted to do this and do it from home, you could invest literally tens of thousands of dollars. And that used to be the going rate. I remember sitting through a voiceover workshop back in my radio days. This is like back in the late 80s. And some guys were doing a voiceover workshop, and I just thought I wanted to check it out, see what it was about. And they said, well, if you want to do this and set up from home, the cost is going to be at least $50,000. Well, that was more than twice what I made. That was a lot more than twice what I made at that point in time in my very humble, modest radio career. It wasn't feasible for most of us, to do that. But it's a different ball game today because technology is so much cheaper. You need a computer, and my guess is you have a computer. The computer you have, in all likelihood, is plenty because it doesn't require a lot of processing power or memory. I mean, if you have a computer that I would say is at least less than 10 years old, you're probably in good shape, be it notebook, laptop, or desktop. What you're looking at here, in addition to that, looks to be a MacBook Pro, and by the way, it doesn't matter what kind of computer you have. It can be Windows, Mac, whatever. That little microphone right there, that is called an Apogee mic. And I don't know if you can see it through my camera shot here, but this microphone right here is the microphone you see on the screen. What you're hearing me through right now is that microphone. The technology today is it's amazing. This microphone costs $199. It's portable. It doesn't require an audio interface. In other words, you don't have to buy extra equipment. You just plug it in USB into your computer, and boom. You're good to go. So it's much easier and it's much cheaper, and the quality of these are really, really good. Now, let's talk a little bit about the performance aspect because it used to be really hard. You wanted to get into voiceover or even broadcasting. There was an expectation that you had to have the big, authoritative, booming voice, and you rarely ever heard women in voiceover or broadcasting, a number of decades ago. It was a hard nut to crack, and the expectations were just out of the range of what most people could produce. And by the way, you're looking at Don Pardo, the late Don Pardo, who used to be the booth announcer for Saturday Night Live. And so unless you had that big, big authoritative voice, your chances of getting hired were practically nil. Well, today it's different. It is a different ballgame today, and the expectations of what clients want and even what talent agents and casting directors want, it's a different ballgame. What they're looking for is, generally speaking, is authenticity. And, occasionally you will see a job where somebody's looking for the big announcery voice, but the piece of direction that I see more often than anything else when I receive an audition for a job is, and this is word for word, I see it all the time, no radio announcers. They're not wanting the radio voice. They're just wanting people who can relate and who can be normal, or at least sound normal, and relate well to other people and connect with other people. So it's so much easier to do that than to be, the voice that you're not. So let me talk to you a little bit about giving your best. I even hate to use the word performance because it's all about being authentic. Let's call it communication. To be a great communicator, it's about context. It's about understanding the story. You have to understand that people ultimately are going to hire you because they connect with you. They like you, not you trying to sound like Sam Elliott, the voice of Dodge Ram trucks, or Susan Sarandon, who does some of the Disney commercials. If you're trying to sound like somebody else, your chances of hire, and believe me, I know this from experience, my own experience, your chances of getting hired are very slim. It's about expressing your point of view. It's about expressing your personality and expressing your emotions within the story, within the context of the script. So let's talk about what I mean and give you a bit of an example. So this is one example. It's for St. Louis Children's Hospital. I share the script with almost every new student I work with, and I ask them to read it for me without any direction. I just want to hear what they do with it right off the bat. What most people do when you throw them a script, if they're not trained and prepared, is they will perform the script at you because they're focused on the sound of their voice, because the voice in their head is saying, okay, sound good, sound good. Make sure your pace is right. Don't go too fast. Don't go too slow. Make sure you pause at all the right places. Make sure you emphasize the right words. And so their read might sound something like this. Here at St. Louis Children's Hospital, we're not supposed to get emotionally attached to our patients, but we're only human. And they're superhuman. And really, they're not even our patients because we belong to them. And we'll do everything humanly possible to make them better. Almost like they're on stage in a theatrical performance. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, that's not a criticism. That is the human response to a microphone and a script. However, if you want to get hired for a script, whether it's for a children's hospital or whether it's for a car dealership, you have to put yourself within the context of the story and ask yourself, well, how would I respond in this scenario? And what's the emotion that what would I feel? And what do I want my audience to feel? So in my case, I'm thinking, I've got kids and I've got grandkids, and so I know what it's like to have a loved one in the hospital. And I want somebody to have a sense of compassion. And I want to know they care. And I want to know that they've got my back and they're going to make this right, whatever the situation is. So the way I would approach it would be, here at St. Louis Children's Hospital, we're not supposed to get emotionally attached to our patients, but we're only human. And they're superhuman. And really, they're not even our patients because we belong to them. And we'll do everything humanly possible to make them better. Now, again, your read's going to be different from mine, but it's going to be from your perspective. What do you sound like when you feel compassionate and caring? That's the key. It's not performing another personality. It's being your personality within the story that you're given. And of course, you have to develop that skill for different types of scenarios and different stories and different reads, commercials of all different types. Then there's a lot of different narration projects and e-learning, corporate audiobooks, character voices, promos, radio imaging.
Bill, let me interrupt you a second.
Yeah.
Do you think if anybody in the group here wants to do a quick read, we're in a position where we can do that?
That would be great.
Yeah,
do you want to work with the one I have on screen, or do you want me to pull up a new one?
No, you know what? We'll do the one on the screen. So if anyone right now wants to try this, say yes. First one to say yes. Serve. I'm going to unmute you, and you can try a read. Who's game? I'm going to give you to the count of 5 to say yes. 1, 2. Again, he charges a lot of money, $150 for the half hour, right?
That's right.
1, 2, 3. There he is. Okay, there she is. I'm sorry, Christine, my buddy from Albuquerque. Hold on, Christine. I'm going to unmute you, and Bill's going to work with you. Here we go. Let's do. Hold on. Not yet. Yep. Christine, get ready. Here you are. You're on.
Hey,
can you hear
Christine.
Us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, how are you?
All right, I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Well, are you ready to dive into this?
Yes,
I'll tell you what.
am.
So all I want you to do, I want you to just read it for me, with your best interpretation, whatever seems right to you, without any direction from me, and then I'll work with you after I've heard it once, okay?
Okay. Here at St. Louis Children's Hospital, we're not supposed to get emotionally attached to our patients, but we're only human. And they're superhuman. And really, they're not even our patients because we belong to them. And we'll do everything humanly possible to make them better.
Now, first of all, let me say, I could definitely feel some emotion there. You were thinking about the story. You knew what you were talking about. And so that's really important. So that was really good. Now, here's all I want to do. I want to change the size of the room, figuratively speaking, because you're performing on stage right now.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean by that?
Yeah,
right,
that's my back.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, very good. And so that's what I'm hearing. So all I want you to do is I want you to change the scene. Instead of being on stage, we're now sitting in a waiting room. And you're the doctor, and I'm the parent of one of these children. And we're literally inches from each other. And I want you to turn to me, and I want you to reassure me that everything's going to be okay.
Here at St. Louis Children's Hospital, we're not supposed to get emotionally attached to our patients, but we're only human. And they're superhuman. And really, they're not even our patients because we belong to them. And we'll do everything humanly possible to make them better.
Much better. And I'm going to have you read it one more time, and my direction's very simple. All I want you to do is to cut your volume in half. It may feel weird, but just trust me.
Okay. Here at St. Louis Children's Hospital, we're not supposed to get emotionally attached to our patients, but we're only human. And they're superhuman. And really, they're not even our patients because we belong to them. And we'll do everything humanly possible to make them better.
So much better. That was lovely. That was really good. And the main difference was at first, you were pushing yourself out to us. That time, you pulled us in to you. You drew us in. It was compelling. Great work.
Awesome. Thank you.
Applause. Yeah, very nice. Thanks for being willing to do that. That was great. Thanks, Fred. So the secret sauce to all of this is this. Keep this in mind. It's the emotion. Remember, if you want to get hired, your audience has to feel something. And the only way for them to feel it is you have to feel it first. If you feel it, they'll feel it. Then you get the job. So let's just talk about some things you're going to need. You're going to need a computer with internet connection. You're going to need a microphone. The Apogee mic, which I mentioned, it's a suggestion. I don't get paid for, I'm not trying to, I don't make money on that. I'm just telling you because I own it and I know some great voiceover talent who highly respect it. There are plenty of others on the market. Also, you'll need recording software. And there's a great program called Audacity that's free. And if you just Google Audacity, just Audacity download, Google that, and it'll pop up and you can use it on Mac and Windows. GarageBand, if you have a Mac, will work fine. All recording software have the same audio quality. It's just a matter of what kind of bells and whistles you want. And frankly, you don't need a lot for voiceover. Skype, to be able to communicate remotely with clients. A pair of headphones so you can hear when you're editing your audio. And then I've put in red font to draw attention to soundproofing and sound treatment. Soundproofing is the idea of quietness. It's impossible to completely soundproof a room in your home unless you build it, from the ground up that way. You're not your house. My house, nobody's house is soundproof. But what you want to do is find the quietest room in your house, even if that's like I worked out of my bedroom closet for 4 years. My wife was very kind in allowing me to work out of my side. My side of the closet. But it worked great because I was surrounded by hanging clothing, which meant is sound treatment. It baffled and picked up and absorbed a lot of the extra sound waves so that you don't get that real, reverby, boxy sound. You don't want that. And so sound treatment in a quiet space can allow you to record from home and to produce some really good quality. So I'm not sure how that popped in there. Wait a minute here. Did I miss something? Did I skip a step?
I don't think so.
Okay, I apologize. I think that's okay. How to get hired. All right. Well, anyhow, let's talk about how to get hired. You have to become as much about the business as you are the performance. A lot of people think this is the formula for voiceover success. Great voice equals money. No, that is not the formula. The formula is not necessarily great voice, but understanding how to be a great communicator and having the right business skills. Those combined, then you become a deadly force. And yes, that's when you make money. So you get hired, first of all, through your performance, learning how to give the right read for your demos and how to have the right read for your auditions. But you're also going to get hired through your marketing efforts. Understanding how to target voice seekers, meaning people who hire voiceover talent. You have to know your market. And we've talked about that earlier, video production companies being your largest market. And also you'll have to be in communication with those folks. And there are various methods to do that. I've just suggested a few. Telephone, and there's nothing wrong with picking up a phone and calling somebody. Email, video email. A lot of people use postcards, and you can always even go knock on a few doors. Nothing wrong with that as well. One thing you do need to keep in mind, though, is that frequency of communication is important. A rule of thumb for marketing is that you should be in touch with your prospective clients at least 6 times a year, because if you don't, you get forgotten. And once you get that job and you get that client, you want to make sure they rehire you because it's much easier and cheaper to get a job from an existing client than have to go out and market and work an audition to get a new one. And you always want to get new clients. You need, every business needs fresh blood. I'm always cultivating new clients, but I'm much more concerned about keeping the ones I've already worked hard to get. And you'll get that through great communication by honoring your commitments. The stuff I have here on the slide, I cannot emphasize enough, because I cannot tell you how many clients have told me that they get frustrated working with voiceover talent because their words, not mine, flaky. They disappear. They don't communicate. They don't get things done when they say they're going to get them done. They're not easy to work with. They're not accessible. But if you can be those 4 things to your client will love you, and they'll keep using you over and over again. I've got clients now I've had since the very beginning of my career, and they have really formed the financial base of my business as it is today. Now, to get voiceover work, whether you're on a freelance website or however you're doing it, you will need a demo, which is short for a demonstration, sampling of your capabilities recorded so that somebody can hear you. Nobody's going to hand you a job or even hand you an audition unless they hear you first and think that you might be good for that job. Now, something that you do need to be aware of, at some point in time in your career, you will want and need to have a professionally produced demo. When you begin working with talent agents and you're marketing to more of the larger national and global brands, having a professionally produced demo will be very important. What a lot of people don't understand is that is not essential or necessary when you first start off. Voiceover is a big market with a lot of opportunities, especially when you're looking at the freelance sites that we were talking about earlier, like Fiverr and a bunch of those others. I suggest starting with a do-it-yourself demo. Once you have your recording equipment and your home studio set up, produce your own demo and have, around 4 scripts. It could be as little as 3, no more than 6, and you can transcribe commercials from television or from YouTube. Every TV commercial ever recorded is on YouTube someplace. Transcribe and then record only 10 to 15 seconds of each one. It doesn't even have to be a full 30 or 60 seconds. And mix up the different styles. Like you will want something that would be like upbeat or urgent or hard sell, a high energy type commercial. And then have one that's person, guy, girl next door type of commercial where you're just being very conversational. Maybe something like what you just heard a while ago with the healthcare, the hospital commercial, something that's compassionate and heartfelt. Or maybe where you're showing your more credible and authoritative side with a financial institution commercial. Or an explainer video narration, which is basically a whiteboard narration, meet Bill. Bill records voiceovers. That kind of thing. So, and these are just examples and ideas and suggestions. But the idea is that you find 3 to 6 scripts that you feel that you can do well and show different sides of your personality and record and compile them together into your own do-it-yourself demo. And it will allow you to begin generating some cash flow in your business before you put out a bunch of money on a demo. And I believe when you can, make money before you spend a lot of money, for sure. So the 3 keys, as we've talked about tonight, to building a successful or a 6-figure voiceover business, you've got to be found, you have to be heard, and heard in the right way, and then you have to understand how to get hired. So I think you would agree that having a compass is great, and essentially what I've outlined for you here is I want to make sure I get you pointed in the right direction, and having a compass can be awesome and helpful, but I think you would also agree that having a map with all of the specific strategies, the tools, would be even better in helping you to get where you want to go. So what I'd like to do is to ask you a question. And the question is this. If I could show you how to cut 90% of the learning curve out of building your own successful voiceover business, and I'm talking about building it from nothing, from scratch, 0, and start generating income within the next month, maybe even within the next week, is that something you'd be interested in learning more about? And if you just let me know if it's okay to continue, don't want to assume anything in the response box, just put, yeah, go right ahead. And Fred, if I'm getting enough yes, let me know, and I'll get rolling on it. I do have an offer for you, but it's information that can help you cut out 90% of the learning curve. But I just want to make sure you're okay with that.
You appear to have people that are okay with it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell you about is my 6-figure voiceover blueprint training program, and it's the specific tools, the roadmap, the specific drill down strategies to help you start building your business immediately and generating income within the next 30 days. And so it's over 40 hours of training content in streaming video format. So as long as you have access to the internet, you've got access to the training content. And it's organized into 3 high-performance training modules to help you build a profitable and sustainable business. So if you want to make a 6-figure plus income and work from home, spend more time with your family, which is one of the things I love most about what I do, and work from where you want to work from. And if you want to go from frustration and the slow lane to the fast lane, this program's for you. So the first step, I'm going to teach you how to get found. So I want you to imagine this. You wake up in the morning and you know exactly what you need to do that day to grow your voiceover career or business. So what I want to do is take the guesswork out. I don't want you to have to kind of wind your way through the weeds trying to figure out how to do this. So whether you have 15 minutes or 8 hours a day, like when I started, I had all the time in the world, and I essentially spend all my time trying to figure this out. So whether you have a break in your current job and you've only got a few minutes, or you've got all day, you're going to have a game plan on what to do. And one of the first things that you'll be looking at will be the 3 secrets to start making money within 1 to 2 weeks on Fiverr.com. And here are just a few folks who have been sharing their success on Facebook with the Fiverr training, and like Donnie Barnes, his first month, and like you're not gonna get rich a month or two out. He made $36, then $190, and then within 4 months he was up to $2,500 a month, and then on from there. And Gary Mayholm here again sharing his success on Fiverr. I've got a lot of students who are making thousands a month. I mentioned earlier, I've got a number who have now quit their jobs because they're making a full-time income just through by recording voiceovers using Fiverr. Also, I'm going to teach you the specific strategies on how to mine Craigslist for jobs that most voiceover talent completely miss. Also, you're going to know how and who to look for online so that you can connect with the people that hire voiceover talent. Also, I'm going to share my really simple method that I use to get clients to say yes within 60 seconds on the phone. As a matter of fact, I've recorded myself calling clients, and so you can actually hear what it's like, what the process is like, and actually hear me land a client on the telephone. Also, how to make online casting sites like Voices.com and Voice123.com your greatest source of leads. Also, as part of that, I want to teach you how to become a most listened to talent. Remember, I said you've got to get heard? It's like the first thing that has to happen. You've got to be heard. That's something I understand very well. I'm consistently the number one of all the thousands, tens of thousands of voice talent on Voices.com. I'm consistently the number one most listened to male talent. And if you look at a lot of those other faces or people that I've coached and taught on Voices.com, the point is, I can teach you how to be found and how to be heard. And a lot of my students get heard and they get hired. And a couple more students here who were recently hired on Voices.com. Also, I'm going to teach you how to create simple client proposals that help you get hired. Online strategies that will keep clients listening. And I'm really excited about this. Some online jobs, how to get online jobs passively by supercharging your online presence and your profile so that you wake up in the morning and people are contacting you. Your inbox already has some inquiries asking you about recording work. I'll teach you how to leverage your marketing by learning how to get commercial production companies to do the marketing for you. Whenever I can, I will leverage my efforts to have other people help me to get the work done because it's in their interest as well as in my interest. Also, I'll teach you how to go global by learning to work with foreign agencies and production companies. Step 2, I'm going to teach you how to get heard. Teach you about setting up your home studio, some pro home audio choices, of how to scout out and make sure you're using the right and the best space for recording in your home, some creative and affordable acoustic audio treatments for your home studio, and also how to work globally, cheaply and easily in real time. I work with clients in real time all over the world, and actually one day I had it was kind of cool. I was being directed by a producer in London and being recorded by an audio engineer in Paris, and I thought, only in 2017 Could this be possible? But it can be done, and done cheaply. Also, I'm going to teach you how to edit audio quickly and easily, because as a voice talent, you've got to know how to edit your own audio. But you don't want to spend so much time that it keeps you from marketing and recording projects, because that's really where your money's made. I'll show you how to find audiobook work. You could literally submit your first audition tonight for a job. I'll teach you how to create audiobook characters, how to get character work in video games, digital toys, TV, and more. You'll be able to create your very first character today. Also, you'll be able to find work in VO's largest niche, which is narration. About 75% of all my work comes under the banner of narration. You'll learn how to perform for e-learning projects, corporate, documentaries, commercials, promos, radio imaging, and explainer videos. These are all things that I do, and you'll learn how to do all of those. Also, how to get heard in the next 48 hours by creating your own do-it-yourself demo. A complete training program just on that. Also, I'm going to teach you how to get hired. Strategies to keep your clients coming back for more. I'm going to teach you how to set and negotiate great rates, how to double, triple, even quadruple your rate on a single job, and my easy system of collecting nearly 100%. It's like 99.7% of everything that I bill, which is highly unusual for any business to be able to collect that much of what they earn. But I do, and I don't sue anybody. I don't threaten anybody. I just have a system that allows me to make sure that I get paid for what I do. Also, I want to help you avoid the ups and downs of self-employment in terms of income, because roller coaster rides, as much fun as they are in amusement parks, they're not very fun when it comes to your income. And my wife really appreciates the fact that from month to month, we never have to worry about paying our bills, because my income, because of the systematic approach to my business, I have a very consistent income that's very dependable. Also, I'll teach you a pruning strategy so that you can continue to make more while actually working less, and how to take time off as a self-employed voice actor without losing your clients. Also, how to increase your income with an assistant. One of the smartest things I ever did, I just didn't realize how smart it was at the time, was when I hired my daughter to be my full-time assistant, because I saw an immediate jump in my bottom line. And, over the years, I've learned how to leverage. I mentioned it earlier. I love to leverage other people's activities, but having an assistant allows me to make a lot more money. So the big question I'm sure you have is, will this work for you? Well, let me share with you what some people are saying. Here's Anthony, who I've worked with, and this is just an email. I'm not going to read you the whole email, but you can see he's calling to celebrate the fact that he hit and has achieved six figures in his voiceover business. And he says in here, Billy, not Billy, it's what my mom calls me. Bill, I really want to say a huge thank you for everything you've helped me with. Call me crazy, but I believed all that talk about building a six-figure VO income. Without a doubt, your sage wisdom through your videos and our conversations have all contributed to this day. So that's exciting. Here's another, there's a handwritten thank you note I recently received from Todd, and there on the back, he was notifying me that as of September 29th, he reached six figures in his voiceover career. Here's a recent email from Keith Harris, who says, it's pretty amazing that everything, all caps, you put out has such an immediate and powerful impact. And was sharing, I don't know if these numbers will mean anything to you, but essentially what he was saying, he said another 2 listens and 1 private invite, he's beat his monthly average in 2 days. He was more productive in 2 days than he had been on a monthly basis prior to our working together. And then Mark Holcomb, who was sharing with me his first $1,000 day as a voiceover talent. And here's some people who work on a much larger platform of voiceover who've said some really nice things. Terry Badu, who's a former CNN news anchor who contacted me as he was retiring and transitioning into voiceover work. And then Fred Fries and Cassie Boyd and Trevor Jones from Los Angeles, who were very successful there as voice actors, as well as Bruce Laurie in Chicago. So what I'm talking about here, this program, this over 40 hours of training content, how to get found, how to get heard, how to get hired. The total value of this package is just over $2,000, and that's not an arbitrary number I've made up. If you actually took all of these training modules that I now sell individually and add them up, that's exactly what they would add up to. But I wanted to make sure that I gave you a whole lot of value here. So what else might you need? Well, I've got several bonuses. The first one is videos from my recent VoiceOver Revolution event, my Chicago area event, with a special guest and friend Dave Fenoy, who is one of this country's top VO talents. He's huge in character work and video games. And Dave taught his insider secrets on breaking into the video game business. And I taught specifically next-level inbound marketing techniques that allow me to work less and make more money. So that's the first bonus. And the people who attended that event paid $397. So you're getting those videos. So now the value with the blueprint at $2,037 and the videos at $397, the value is now $2,434. Now, what else might you need? Well, here's another bonus. A month of free DeWees membership. Okay, what the heck is DeWees membership? Well, it's a special group of people that are who are very much committed to success. And we're in more of a group mentoring type of relationship. We have a private Facebook group. And within that Facebook group, of course, members get support from each other. Also, interaction with me within the group. We do biweekly webinars where I answer questions. We talk about issues and challenges. I do coaching within the group. All of my members get event and program discounts. There's also a bonus training content that only members have access to, plus access to all the archived videos, whether it's training or whether it's the webinars or whether it is me streaming live from my studio. You heard me right. I stream live. Believe it or not, I stream live from my studio every day. Whenever I'm recording voiceovers, I don't care what it is, auditions, projects, or I'm talking about clients or two clients, I stream it all from my studio so that you can watch and observe and learn. It's one thing to be told something. It's another thing when you can actually sit in the studio and watch and observe. And so all of my live streaming has been archived. It's all there already. And tomorrow morning, I'll be back in my studio and I'll be streaming again. So you'll get to check all of that out.
I was just counting. There's I was showing somebody today, I think there's over 200 videos that are archived.
Really? I wonder, geez, we're talking, who knows how many hours that is? I don't know. It's a lot. So, you're going to get all of the nitty-gritty of what happens on a day-to-day basis as I stream from my studio. Literally, you're looking over my shoulder as I work. So not only, it's not you looking at my face, let me go back here. You're seeing my desktop. So you're seeing me edit audio. You're seeing my scripts that I'm working with. If I'm on Skype with a client or somebody, or even Mallory, my assistant, you see and hear all of those conversations. So you really, again, you see and hear it all. Auditions, live client. If I'm in a session with a client and they're directing me, you hear that. I had a 2-hour. Yeah.
If I wanted to come out to Chicago, sit down next to you and do that, how much are you going to charge me for the day?
Well, a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. More than you can afford, Fred. So maybe not you, but so you're going to get all of this stuff. In case I haven't beat that dead horse enough, I mean literally everything I do, you're going to see. So you've got the VO Blueprint, $2,037. The live videos, $397. You're going to get a month of DeWees membership, which is $197. So the total value is $2,631. Here's another bonus for you. It's the video of my marketing workshop that I did at the Midwest VO Conference in Columbus, Ohio. And a few of the things I cover in this workshop. My super simple marketing wheel concept that allows you to find an endless supply of prospective clients. I'll be teaching you how to make more money with my dollars per day rather than the dollars per job strategy that most other people use. And also all my VO guerrilla marketing strategies that have worked so well for me and will work for you as well. So we've got the blueprint, $2,037, the live videos of VO Revolution, $397, the DeWees membership, $197 value, and my marketing workshop, which is $147 value, $2,778 now value total value. But what else might you want? Well, I've got videos from a 2-day marketing workshop. It was a roundtable type of workshop that I did with working voiceover talent. I wanted to have a chance for them to come in, for us to sit down and take all of this material that I teach, but talk specifically about different scenarios in their business. So it was like more putting meat on the bone. We took theory and really turned it into practice during that round table, those 2 days around the table discussing and working through a lot of these real issues that voiceover talent work with. So we talked about creating another income stream by learning copywriting for voice talent, learning new methods of applying marketing principles, and how to leverage your time. You know, one of the big things is how do you manage the marketing piece with the performance piece so that you can still continue to grow your business? So you've got the blueprint at $2,037. You got the Revolution videos at $397. DeWees membership, $197. The marketing seminar from the Midwest VO conference, $147. To attend that playbook marketing event, that was $847 is what those folks paid to be there. So the value is $3,625. But I had to throw in one more thing, and that is my top 100 VO questions. What it is, it's an in-depth video response resource. Let's think of it this way. You're sitting in your studio, you have a question, you're stumped, you don't know what to do. Well, I've taken answers, I've recorded video answers to the top 100 questions that I get all the time, over and over again. And so that you've got an issue about your studio, about the technical quality of your audio, about your performance, about the industry. Well, it's all categorized and you can just look it up, and then I pop up on screen and give you the answer so that you have access to that 24/7. It's over 10 hours of content, that resource alone. So it's a great studio companion, if you will. So we've got the blueprint, $2,037. The Revolution live videos, $397. DeWees membership, $197. The marketing seminar in Columbus, $147. The roundtable playbook marketing event, $847. And this 100 VO questions reference videos, $197. So the total value of everything I've got here is $3,822. And one more quick email, and I'm not going to read all of this to you, but Ed wanted to drop me a note and let me know. He's been recording voiceovers for over 20 years, but it wasn't until he put my marketing strategies into play that he made anywhere near what he's making now. So this stuff does work. So let me ask you this. If all I did was help you build a profitable business working from home or the road and give you the freedom to live life the way you want, would it be worth it? If I could help you transition out of your current job or make money during retirement and set your own course, would it be worth it? If I could save you years and thousands of dollars on trial and error, would it be worth it? Well, my very special offer for you tonight is all that I've shared with you tonight, this entire VO blueprint, all the bonus material, which makes it over 60 hours of training content, $997, but it's only good for the next 48 hours. So it's a one-time payment of $997, or we've set it up for 3 payments of $349. And actually now, if you go to order at BillDeWeesLive.com/go, we have a 6-payment option as well.
Excellent. Lots of different options. Good stuff. What's the guarantee on this, Bill?
Let me come down here. Oh, there we go. I have my personal guarantee is 30 days, no questions asked. Refund. So if you feel that, I'm full of it, if this doesn't meet your expectations, you just let me know and we'll refund you. The philosophy has always been that you need to feel like you're getting more than your money's worth with anything, any kind of resource or training product or program that you buy from me. And if you don't feel that way, then I wouldn't want you to have, I don't want that hanging over my head. I want the people that I work with to feel like they're getting real value. And if not, then, you deserve your money back.
How about some questions from the group here? Are you game for that, Bill?
Oh, questions? Yeah, please.
Okay, please. Any questions about anything, folks? Anything you want?